Neville said, "You are already that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe it is the only reason you do not see it." Let that land for a second. You are already that. You're not becoming it. You're not working towards it. You are already it. And it's only your refusal to believe is the only thing standing in the way. Now, I'm going to be real with you. This isn't a new statement, probably to most of you. You probably have heard some versions of this so many times, maybe even from me. You know your thoughts create. You know what you focus on grows. You know living in the end is the answer. So why isn't your reality looking more like you want it to? That's what I'm talking about in this video today, because there's something happening underneath the techniques and the knowledge that's keeping you stuck in looking for evidence in the 3D. And until you understand what's actually going on, you're going to keep doing the work and keep wondering why nothing is shifting. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why you keep looking at 3D for evidence, what's actually creating your current reality at the deepest level, and what to actually do about it so you can stop struggling and you can start consciously creating the way you were always meant to. If you're new here, hello, I am your Muse Traci. On this channel, I help you unlock the power you already have but can't access. I help you break through where years of trying has failed. And the biggest hurdle of all, I help you go from intellectually knowing the law to permanently embodying it. So let's start with something you might not want to look at, but you have to look at it if you want to change it, right? We can't change what we don't see or what we're not willing to see. Your current reality is showing you what you actually believe at the deepest level. Not what you say you believe, not what you affirm, not what you wish you believed, what you actually believe. The reality you're currently experiencing is a precise reflection of your deeply held assumptions, your subconscious programming, your dominant inner state of being. All of this is being mirrored back to you in the form of your circumstances. Nothing is random. Nothing is chance. Nothing is just happening. So if you want to know what you really believe, you don't have to wonder. Just look at your reality. It's showing you all the time, all the time, all the time. If your reality is showing you abundance and ease, you actually believe in your abundance and worthiness. If your reality is showing you struggle, distance, lack, chaos, then you have programming that matches those experiences, whether you're conscious of it or not. And I know this is uncomfortable to look at. We all go through this, okay? That's a natural part of it. It's difficult at first to accept, no, I do hold those feelings of lack, or I do hold those feelings that I'm not enough, okay? So let's acknowledge that. This isn't a fun time. It's not a party to do this, but you have to do it. Okay? Because you can't keep saying, I believe I'm worthy while your reality reflects unworthiness back to you, right? It's like, and pretending like you don't know why. We have to look at the one and only cause. What's the deeper belief? What's going on a deeper level inside of you, right? Because reality isn't trying to play tricks on you. It's a very accurate report. And so once you stop debating what you believe and you just look at what's showing up, then you have the truth of what's going on inside of you. And the truth is really the only thing you can actually work with here. You can't change what you're not willing to see. Look at your 3D, not to react to it, not to accept it as permanent or truth, but as a diagnostic tool, right? For telling you exactly what's going on inside of you at the deepest level. And now your beliefs alone aren't the full picture. So let's look at another layer. The other layer that you want to look at is emotions. Your dominant and reoccurring emotions are also showing you what you're putting out, what you're signaling to the universe. If you're struggling to think lovely thoughts about, what you'd love to experience, if you keep slipping into blame, if you find yourself referring back to your old story or back to your current circumstances over and over and over and over, if you know what you focus on becomes more, but yet you still struggle, right? You can't release your mind's incessant grip on what you don't want, there's a reason, okay? There is something trying to be shown to you, and it has nothing to do with you being broken or doing it wrong. So a quote from David Hawkins' book that puts this perfectly is, he says in the book, "The mind with its thoughts is driven by feelings. Each feeling is the cumulative derivative of many thousands of thoughts." Because most people throughout their lives repress, suppress, and try to escape from their feelings, the suppressed energy accumulates and seeks expression through psychosomatic distress, bodily disorders, emotional illnesses, and disordered behavior in interpersonal relationships. The accumulated feelings block spiritual growth and awareness, as well as success in many areas of life. This is from his book, Letting Go. I was going to say, go back and, rewind the video. It's a very dense, compact, there's so much packed in. So listen to that again if you need to, because this is the missing piece for so many people. Your thoughts are driven by your feelings a lot of times, and especially those incessant thoughts that just keep playing over and 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 over. It's like there's a reason, okay? And it's not, again, I hear this all the time from my clients, and I used to think this about myself. I did, before I knew about this technique from David Hawkins about letting go, I thought I was an overthinker. In my early days of manifesting, I was like, okay, I'm an overthinker. I'm just going to use that to my advantage. I'll just overthink my affirmations. I was doing the best I could at the time, so that's what I did. But when I learned about this process, it turns out I'm not an overthinker. I'm not. I've got a lot of peace and quiet going on up there because I processed the emotions that were, creating that overthinking experience that I was having. So if you've been trying to think your way into a new reality while your feelings are still holding all the energy, you're swimming upstream, right? You're fighting against the current. The unprocessed feelings are creating the dominant thoughts, and the dominant thoughts are creating your dominant state of being. And the dominant state is what's creating your reality or aligning you with the reality that you experience, right? And it's all just being reflected back to you. So if you can't seem to maintain the thoughts that you want, if you keep slipping back into focusing on what you don't want, this is not an issue of willpower. This is not an issue of you're just bad at this. The issue is the feeling underneath that's driving all of those incessant thoughts. Another quote from David Hawkins from this book: "The more fear we have on the inside, the more our perception of the world is changed to a fearful, guarded expectancy. To the fearful person, the world is a terrifying place. To the angry person, the world is a chaos of frustration and vexation. To the guilty person, it is a world of temptation and sin, which they see everywhere. What we are holding inside colors our world. If we let go of guilt, we will see innocence. However, a guilt-ridden person will see only evil. The basic rule is that what we focus on is what we have repressed." This is huge. I want you guys, again, to take a moment, and I want you to get this book too. This is an amazing book. But take this in, just what, I'm just giving you a couple of snippets from this book. And the thing I want you to understand here is the very things you keep focusing on in your 3D, the things you can't seem to let go of, the patterns that keep pulling your attention back, those are showing you what's been repressed inside of you all along. This is why I'm telling you guys. I try to tell you a lot in a lot of my videos. It is a brilliant, beautiful, perfect design. Your external reality, the people in your reality, are there to show you parts of yourself that you couldn't see before, okay? That's all that's going on. And once you can get your mind around this and see it for what it is and neutralize the reactions and the triggers, I just created a video all about reacting. So I'll put it up here in the card. Go and watch that video. But if you can change your relationship to this more, relationship of understanding that, oh, my reality is showing me something inside of me, you're going to start consciously creating what you want like this. But when we stay in denial, stay in repression, then again, it's like swimming upstream. It's like fighting an uphill battle because reality isn't giving you what you want. Reality is giving you what you hold to be true, what you're doing in here. What you repress, you get more of. And that's also why looking for evidence in the 3D never really works out, because the 3D is just the externalization of what you've already been holding internally. It's never going to show you something different than what's inside of you, right? So that is exactly why Neville said to disregard appearances, not because the 3D isn't real, but because it's not where evidence lives. Evidence lives in your consciousness. You create the evidence inside first. Evidence lives in your imagination. Evidence lives in your assumption. Neville said, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I'll qualify that not seen in the physical. You can see it in your imagination. The evidence is in the unseen, meaning your imagination, not the seen, meaning 3D reality. The 3D is showing you just your old assumptions. It is the evidence of what you've been holding. But the new evidence, the evidence of what you're calling into your reality now, lives in your imagination first. Neville also said, let man disregard appearances and declare that he is now the man that he wants to be. You get to choose. You get to decide. You don't wait for 3D to show you proof. You declare, you assume, you embody the version of you that already is what you want to be. He also said, the ideal is always waiting to be incarnated, but unless we ourselves offer the idea to God, our consciousness, by assuming that we are already that which we seek to embody, it is incapable of birth. Your desire is waiting on you. It's already there. It's already created, but it can't enter into your reality until you assume it within yourself, until you give it the consciousness that allows it to be born in your external reality. The 3D can't give birth to what's not already alive within you. You have to give birth to it first, in consciousness, in your imagination, in your assumption. And Neville was very specific about this next part. He said, facts based upon reason and the evidence of the senses which oppose the idea seeking expression rob you of the belief and the reality of your desire. When you look at 3D and let what you see oppose the version of reality you're trying to create and align yourself with, you rob yourself of it. You take away its ability to be born. The 3D doesn't have authority over you or over your desires or over what you can assume, but you give it that authority every time you look at it and let it tell you what's real. Neville also said something that I want everyone to hear. He said, the meaning or cause of the phenomenon of life can be found only within the consciousness of man. Things which are seen are not made of things that do appear. Events appear on the screen of space to express the different levels of consciousness of man. A change in consciousness automatically results in a change in the phenomenon of his life. To attempt to change conditions before he changes the level of consciousness from whence they came is to struggle in vain. To struggle in vain. He's being very direct here. That's what you're doing if you're trying to change your 3D before you change the consciousness creating it, or if you're looking for evidence of the change in the 3D. You can do all the action steps in the world. You can try to fix every external thing. You can chase the manifestation. You can do all the practical steps, right? You can, because the conditions came from a level of consciousness. And as long as that level of consciousness stays the same, the conditions will stay the same. Or new conditions that match that consciousness will simply replace the old ones. This is why people manifest things and lose them. Why they change jobs and end up in the same dynamics. Why they leave relationships and find themselves in identical ones. Why they get money and then somehow lose it. It's because the consciousness didn't change. So the conditions can't really change either. They'll just rearrange themselves to match the same level that the consciousness keeps operating from. So the work is always at the level of consciousness. Always. That's where evidence is created. That's where reality is born. The 3D is just the screen showing you the results. So let's get practical. Here's what you actually do with all of this. You stop looking to the 3D for evidence completely. The 3D is old news. It's showing you your old consciousness, not the new one. So stop using it to tell you what to think and assume. You start using your imagination as evidence. Your imagination is where the new reality lives. It's where it starts. Your assumptions is where it's born from. The new reality is born from your assumptions. So you go there, you spend time there, you make it more real than what your senses are showing you. You lovingly use your imagination to embody the reality you would love to experience. This isn't wishful thinking. It's not a maybe someday. It's as what is already yours, what is already true. You declare, you assume, you embody, even when the 3D says otherwise. Especially when the 3D says otherwise. And you do the work of processing the feelings underneath. Because if there's repressed emotions driving your dominant thoughts, no amount of new affirmations can overpower that. You have to release what's underneath so that something new can take root. This is exactly the work I do with my clients. We don't just talk about the techniques. We get to the feelings underneath that are driving thoughts and broadcasting the old reality. I teach them to process those emotions so they stop driving these, incessant repeating thoughts. And then the new consciousness has space to actually take hold. And once it does, the 3D has to catch up. That's the law. A change in consciousness automatically results in a change in the phenomenon of life. Not maybe, automatically and definitely. So in closing, stop looking for evidence where it doesn't exist. The 3D is not where evidence is found. If you want to create something new, this is not where you look. If you want to keep recreating what's already been created, sure, go ahead and look at 3D. But then you're not a creator, are you? You're just regurgitating what's already been created. But if you want to create something new, you go into your imagination. You go into your preference. The 3D is not where the evidence is. It's where the old evidence is. The evidence of your previous assumptions, your old programming, your unprocessed feelings, your accumulated emotions. And if you keep looking there for confirmation that the new reality is coming, you're going to keep being disappointed because the 3D can only show you what you've already been doing. The new evidence is only in your imagination at first. And that's okay. Your imagination is God. The new evidence is in your assumption, in your willingness to declare yourself already that which you want to be, and to hold that declaration, even when nothing, and I mean nothing, in your 3D supports it. You are already that. Your refusal to believe is the only thing in the way. And guess what? You don't have to keep refusing to believe. You get to choose now to believe, to have faith in the things that you cannot see over just having faith in the things that you can see, which isn't even really faith, but you get what I'm saying. And underneath the refusal of you not believing that you already are that which you want to be are usually feelings that need to be processed and released so that the belief can actually integrate. If you want my help with this work, identifying what's underneath your refusal to believe, your new assumptions, your new reality, processing the feelings that are driving dominant thoughts, and getting to the level of consciousness where your desired reality can actually be born, I'd love to work with you in doing that. There's a link down in the description and in the pinned comment where you can book a one-on-one call with me to see if we're a good fit to work together. Thank you all so much for being here. I'll see you in the next video.